In this video, I will show you how to put together this 3D pedestal sign, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. The actual file comes with two different option sizes. So there's 4x6, or you can put it also, you can do it landscape or portrait. So you can use that, the sign. Or a square, a 4x4 square. So here's a version. It also comes with these optional panels. So when I'm going through this, I'm going to mention it, but I'm not going to add them. So here's the way you could use it as a sign. So there are blanks in the file that are size 4x4 and 4x6, or 6x4 if you want to do it the other way. So you can create some signs like Halloween signs or anything like that. So this is my version of the 4x4. But essentially the top piece, whether it be 4x4 or 4x6, are put together the same. We have blanks for 4x4s. I just did a photo print with 4x6 photo paper to put on both sides. And then we have these frames. So these frames are three different ones. There's rounded, like you see. I have a little cut in there. Kind of rounded inside, and then we have just sharp corner ones, or you don't use the frame at all. So I just like to add more options to my files. That's just the way I am. So that's that. And then let's go put that aside. And then this is the base piece that we'll put together, and this is the neck of the base. So this will connect to that one. Oh, this goes with the photo, and then this. So here are the optional panels. So if you want to use the panels, what I suggest, I like to pre-fold everything. But once you pre-fold, so I'm just going to show you how it folds. I like to go ahead, if you're going to use the panels, you want to put them on before you assemble. So there's panels for the base and panels for the sign piece at the top. So remember, there are different sizes, so you have to look at it. There's 4x4 panels. The base panels are the same no matter whether you use a 4x4 or 4x6. But the way you just do it is just center them. Center them. So just glue it in there, and I'm not going to glue it on, but just like that. So, and then the same thing on the actual side of this. So on the sides you could center those panels if you want to use them, or not use panels at all, and ink it. So that's up to you. But you want to put the panels on first if you're going to use it. So this fits. So I just took one of the 4x4 ones. Because remember, this is 4x6. So there's panels for the 4x6 one, and then panels for 4x4. So we went through all that. So no matter what, so let me go ahead and take these away. So I'm not putting panels in this version. No matter what, the base is the same. So we'll start with that and go from there. So you want to go ahead and make sure you pre-fold all these. And I would say, and you can see how I'm folding it with that like that. I would suggest that you do the skinny piece first, and the reason why the neck of the base is so it can dry good and well before we attach it to this bottom piece. So we'll go ahead and start with this. Move that out of the way. So I'm using American Crafts textured cardstock and currently Barely Art glue. And this is just an extra stopper that I purchased to put it on there. So people are wondering where I get that. They also sell those at Barely Art. So I like to put it on when I'm done. It doesn't necessarily always keep it flowing, but keeping it upside down, all that helps. So we're going to start here. you can go, I'm going to go right to left. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could go start on the other side. But you just want to line up this edge up to that tab fold. And if you're not going to put, you want to be careful with your glue. Always have a little wet paper towel handy to wipe away the excess. So just want to go panel by panel, put it together. That little stopper does get in the way sometimes. So that's the reason I said let's do this first, because what's nice is, one thing I didn't tell you. We're going to have to fold these back, so we'll just do that on the next step. And if you do it too quickly, like say I put this together and then fold it back, it could separate right down here. So let me go here. So this naturally it folds with a valley fold. So you probably should do this before, I just forgot. And then you want to fold it back. And I mean, it's naturally mountain fold, and this is B valley fold. Sorry. So I'm going to do that really quick with the rest of them. And you could even use a bone folder to go over there to sharpen this edge, like this. But I like to fold it forward first and then backwards. Okay, so now it's good and folded to get ready when we get to that point to attach to the bottom piece of the base. So I'm really trying not to get glue on the outside. Just wipe that away, got a little bit. And I'm going to ink this one, give it a little distressed look after we're done. So you just want to be slowly. If you're new to this, if you're not new to this, you can go ahead and forward. But this is fairly simple 3D. I made the first design a little bit too complex, so I decided to go with the simpler to make it easier for everybody. And once we get to this together, we'll work on the second piece on the base. So now we have them like that. Kind of looks like a diamond ring-ish. I didn't intend it to look like that. So we want to add glue to both these tabs. We'll just get this. Just going to get the long piece first. Make sure this is not too dark for you to see there. I just like to run my finger over there to make sure it's going to attach there. And I'm going to leave this well, actually, I don't need to leave this open. We can go ahead and put this top piece on. I thought I was going to do that, but I'm going to add glue to one of these tabs and then add this little piece on the top, this hexagon. So I'm just going to anchor one of them, one side. So this is on this top piece is where the frame will attach to. We'll just glue that frame on. So go ahead, and you don't want to push these tabs in. You're going to just get glue on them. Get a good glue up to the edge. Because if you push them in too far, they won't adhere. So we want them kind of sitting up so they can grab the glue and attach. So when you fold it over, we just need to do little adjustments to get it to line up. And you could, in this case, because we have the other side open, once we get it a little bit set in place where we want, because I'm kind of pushing it in place, then we can flip it over, and I'll use, my wooden chopstick to apply pressure. You can't see in there, but apply pressure to the tabs on the inside. Make sure it's really good and set. But you don't want to do that until it's in place on the top. So now we'll go ahead and put this together. So I'll start with this piece. It doesn't matter which one you start with, but the same methodology of putting it together. We're just going to line it up. Get some good coverage up to the fold and get your hands in there to apply pressure before going to the next one so it doesn't pull apart. So this is fairly simple. It's actually pretty easy size-wise. But how fun is this? I'm going to make a Christmas sign. I may put a Christmas photo on one side, and or I may do it like Halloween and just have two sentiments. And just for those that might be wondering, I just created the Halloween signs in Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, you could use, any of the files you have, but I just went and created a little image from their images they had and went with it. I could have made something a little bit more cut out, but I used the blanks and added. I didn't use the blanks. I did. I used the blanks, and then I did like a printing cut. I did it differently with some photos, so that's what I was trying to think of, because with the photos I used photo paper, so that's why I wanted the glossy photo, and I didn't necessarily want to cut it out because I had 4x6, lots of 4x6 printable photo paper. So make sure you have a crisp edge on this too, and it helps. And just, if you do like this project, do not forget to give us a little thumbs up on the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you hit that little notification bell to the right, you'll be notified when we have new videos, new projects, whether it be freebie tutorials or paid SVG or files that we sell. And we have quite a few freebies. If you're not familiar with us and it's the first video you're seeing, you go on our website at simplycraftysvgs.com, and we have lots of freebies. So I'm just going to gently, I'm kind of pulling it apart so I can put the glue on it first. And then we'll just gently nudge it in there. So I'm just going to go like that. I don't want glue to be visible, so take the time, make sure you get it in place, don't rush it. So now we don't want to close it yet because we want to glue this piece to it. So we want to go ahead and slide this in. And then we're just going to anchor one piece. So if you can see it, I'm just going to add glue to one of them. No, you can't see it. So I just added glue to one. Whoops. Let's just do it this way. I just don't want the glue to get on the outside. Push them in. So I'm lining this up with one section like there, so I can fold it underneath like that. So that inside fold is lined up with this at one of the edges. And that's what it looks like on the inside. Folded over and glued. And what I'd like to do with hexagons or octagons, or let me just pull that up over so you can see. I like to do the opposite one because it puts it in place for me. It's just something I've gotten used to doing. So I'm just going to glue the other one across from that, and I just kind of jiggle this in, make sure that the edge meets up with this inside fold. And we're not going to see any of this because we're going to close this up. We have a big panel to close. We're going to just flip it over. Then we're just going to go ahead and add glue to the remaining tabs. I do things a little awkward when I'm on camera. And then as I'm pulling it, as I'm actually folding it back each section here, I'm making sure it's lined up on the top. So right here. It should line up automatically, but every once in a while it gets off a little bit. So it's always good to check as you're applying pressure on those. So now we're going to go ahead and just glue this on. So we're going to do them all at once, so you want to make sure, again, don't push these down too far because you want them to grab, because we don't have anything we can't reach in and apply pressure on the tabs. So we want the tabs, the glue to grab onto this big panel to close it up. So I'm trying to get glue as close to the edge as possible without getting it. Then I just go and make sure that I didn't go too slow so it dried up on the first or second. So I'm just going to fold it over carefully. And I'm just lining it up. This is the nice part about using wet glue. So I have a little wiggle room time before it dries so I can get it into place. So I'm just lining it up around, making sure I'm just rubbing on each of the edges. And then once I get them on, I just want to make sure I really rub them, and then I'm going to go like that. So I'm just reaching over because I want to add a little ink to it to distress it a little bit, since I'm not using any, let's see if this is wet. I left this open the other day. Don't do that when you're doing it. Just need a piece of paper here. I like to dab this out a little bit. I want to see how wet it is. I'm just going to ink around the edge. I mean, I'm really being a messy inker. Just I'm not going to dab it. I want a little bit more ink to show. I wanted to blend, but I'm not really doing the best with blending here. Probably using too big of a thing for what my purpose is. So let me switch over to one of these finger brushes. Might be easier for me. It's from iCrafter. Another one's a little bit too big. It's getting it in places I really don't want it to be. So I just like the look of inked projects. This is probably not too dark against it. So you can't really see, it's a little bit darker there because I accidentally went where I didn't want to, but let me finish inking this and then we'll go on and put together that top, the actual sign, and I'll be using photos. So I finished inking that base, so I'm just folding this. It says this is a super easy closed box to make. So no matter what, whether it's the 4x4 or the 4x6, it's the same process. They look the same, they're just different. The 4x4 is just smaller. So you just want to glue these tabs on the inside. So I'm just going to line them up here. You could add glue to both of them at once on the same side. So I just want to make sure there's good coverage because I don't want it coming apart at the up here, right here. So I'm just lining this edge up. And then applying pressure. I'm going to add glue to these two tabs. Just pushing them in with my little tip here. Just get them set in place. So it does take a little bit longer to make sure that they're adhered, so make sure you hold those until they're ready. Or you could use something like clothespins to hold them. We're going to go ahead and add the back piece. Now I decided not to put the photos on the actual box before I started because I just don't want to get glue on them. So I say put it on afterwards because regardless of whether you make a sign out of it or a frame, it's a frame sign or just a decorative sign. You just don't want it to get glue on it. Especially you spent the time to design something or... So I just put it on like that and then I'm just applying pressure here. When you can, always apply pressure against like a hard surface or table. Then we'll add glue. And actually, if you wanted to, you could add glue. I'm going to do it with score tape. When they're squared, I'm a little bit... The reason I don't like to use score tape as much is mostly because I'm not good at placement to start with, and so I like to have a little bit more wiggle room with what glue, but the square items or the rectangular, usually I'm okay with. I'm kind of overlapping a little bit here. Oops. As often as I use it, it's probably, I like to get it towards the edges, but I don't use it that often. I'm going to trim off those extra overlaps. So if you just want to use glue, you can. Let me just get these off. I need to trim this a little bit. So I could have cut it to start with, but I didn't. Actually, should be fine. So see, I'm pulling away because I was giving it right here. I was playing around with the pulling a little bit on that tab. I have a gap there, so let me fix that. And then since I have no nails or anything like that, I have to use this to get the backing off. Takes a second. So try to get if you're going to use something like this, try to get it as close as possible to the trying to get this off close as possible to the edge. So I'm going to fold those in a little bit and then carefully fold it over because I don't want to have to. I'm just lining it up, pushing it in a little bit. The score tape or adhesive tape like that, it's pretty much a one and done. So I only had a little overlap. It wasn't bad. So now we're going to go ahead and add on both sides the pictures, but I just want to do a little quick inking, so I'm going to do kind of dirty inking here. Again, I'm just using these little iCrafter finger brushes, but I mean, you could use anything. Makeup sponges, if you want to do that, or if you choose to use the panels. But it's pretty dirty inking. I'm not being careful or anything. So you want to test if you're not comfortable with doing this, and you don't want to go through all gluing it together and then doing something like this and going, I didn't like what it looked like. But I know that what I'm doing is kind of a dirty ink here. So I don't care about the front because I'm going to put my photos on it. So let's go ahead and I'll start with one of them. So it's my dog sticker. So one side we're going to have one dog and the other side I'm going to have another dog. So I'm just going to glue it on. And I'm going to put the frame on top too, but it's optional. Just want you to see what it looks like with and without the frame. With the little border, frame border, I should say, not the frame. Just getting it lined up. I just think, I know I've been guilty, but I have all these pictures and I never print them out. So I decided that with the loss of my other dog, that I needed some pictures out, including family pictures. I just don't feel comfortable putting the family pictures on an assembly video, as I don't have kids, so it's not like these are my kids. So most of the ones that I'm going to have, I would have out are pictures of my family, and I don't want to do that to them if they don't want it to be shared. I don't have the time to talk to them and ask them. They have no choice. These two. So this is Britches. This is my recently passed my Stumpy. It was Britches. That's actually Stumpy's snout right there, but Britches is Stumpy's real brother, and then this is Stumpy's sister from another mister. So trying to get the glue off. So that's that. So you have the option to keep it that way, or I have a little glue. See, that's the side part about doing this. So make sure your space is clean when you flip over and you're using photos. So I'm going to just frame it like that. Making sure I have just adding glue on the sides here. I'm going to do kind of light glue. I'm not going to care if it's really that close because I just don't want to get the glue in the photo. So start at the bottom. And carefully line it up on the sides. So, but I mean, this is optional. Like I said, when I said at the beginning, I have 3 different shapes. That's the kind of scallop inside scallop. This is the kind of circle in the corner. Don't glue on top of it a photo. That's just not smart. And then once we have all this done, we can go ahead and glue this onto the base. Or I think it looks good without a border too, so it's up to your preference. But I think this is a great way to give a photo gift. So I decided not to, for this, once I get these on, decided not to put like a little cheater cuts on this because I wasn't sure how people were going to use a file. So you kind of have to eyeball how you're going to center it. So if you can see like there, I'm going to center it like that. So from the side you can see I didn't get the photo right, but right there. So you can eyeball it no matter how you put it, and it can fit like this too. You just have to hold it together for a long time, but we're going to do it this way. Let me take the plunge here. So get a good amount of glue on this hexagon piece, and you'll need to hold it. So I'm going to try to do it sideways so you can see, but I have to do it from the front. Right now I'm just trying to center it. Get a flat part in the front. And I'm just trying to make sure that it looks centered. Gonna flip it around. Make sure it looks centered. So that top piece is just slightly small, like slightly smaller than. So I did have a little wiggle room there. Make sure. So you want to hold them together like that. And so I have a little glue, but it's going to dry clear. So this is the part you kind of want to hold together. So I'm putting pressure from both sides until it's good to adhere. So I put a bunch of glue on it, so it might take a little while. And I'm trying not to, I got it once it got into place. Trying not to move it. I'm going to flip it on its, like that. So here they are finished. I mean, I like it with the photo, but I think it would be good as a regular sign. Like this. So either way, it's just two ways of using the file. And so here they are finished. So this one with the 4x4 and this one with 4x6 with photos on both sides. And I like it as a sign, or kind of a photo sign. So whatever preference you have. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you so much for watching.